Most teachers have accepted that exhaustion is just part of the job. That constant fatigue, that feeling of doing everything while students do nothing. We tell ourselves this is just how teaching is, but what if it's not? My name is Dr. Sean Woodley, and I teach educators the science of human behavior to transform student behavior and drive academic success. Day after day, there's a weight crushing educators, a burden we've learned to carry without question. Here's what it looks like. You prep for hours, they zone out in minutes. You explain it 3 times, they still don't get it. You create the perfect reward system and it might work for a day, maybe 2. You pour everything into that lesson and they give you blank stares. And then tomorrow it's the same thing. This isn't about your ability, your dedication, your classroom management skills, none of that. But let me tell you what it is about. Our training as educators teaches us to aim instruction and classroom management practices at students' logical, deliberate, and thinking brain, the part that analyzes, reasons, and follows step-by-step instructions. But here's what they don't tell you. That logical thinking, processing, it's only about 2% of how the brain operates. 2%. The other 98%? Automatic, emotional, and instinctive. When we design instruction for the 2% and ignore that 98%, students' brains don't engage. They shut down. They hit power save mode. They essentially check out because it's perceived as taking too much energy to exercise that level of logic with no reward or benefit. And guess who picks up the slack? You do. You become your students' cognitive battery. You do the pushing, you do the prompting, you do the motivating, you do the redirecting, desperately trying to drag their entire mental system forward with tools that were built for just a tiny fraction of it, all while you bear that instructional burden. Here's the biological truth. Students feel first and think second. So when lessons skip straight to logic and bypass emotion and instinct, you end up doing all the cognitive heavy lifting your students' brains should be doing themselves. You're not worn out because you're doing the wrong things. You're worn out because you're doing everything. The moment you stop being your students' cognitive battery, teaching transforms from an endless pushing to a strategic influence. That burden was never meant to be yours alone. It's time to put that down.